What's going on, Bulls fans? We're back for another episode of Chicago Bulls Central. And on today's episode, we'll be doing things a little bit different. I'm actually going to be taking a couple of comments from my previous video. We're going to discuss some things, some concerns from the Bulls' first regular season game. In the first one, we're going to discuss a comment from Keith Davis, who's somebody who's, I think, has been around almost since the beginning of me starting this channel. So I love the support. I love that you're always active. You're always one of the first people to comment on videos when I drop them, and I appreciate it. And so I'm going to put the comment up now. And so his concern is about Lonzo. And so I'm going to read it. It's the concern that I had was, will Zoe be the point guard? Zoe is not the point guard. Zoe is playing 3-and-D just like he did in New Orleans. So I appreciate, right? First, I do want to say, especially in that first game, it seemed at times like maybe it was because of the turnovers that, Lonzo wasn't as aggressive as we saw in the preseason, not as aggressive as we kind of expect him to be. Now, if you talk about the role, right? And again, I'm not saying that this is the right, that I'm right, wrong, anything like that. Nobody's more right, more wrong, because we don't know how this team or the conversations that they're having. But I don't know if Lonzo on this team is going to be the traditional point guard that runs the ball up the floor, and even when the game slows down in the half court, everything's running through him. I don't know if he's going to be that. I typically, and I think I said something about it before the season started, that in the half court, if the game slows down, and especially in that first preseason game where we were playing a really gritty and ugly game, that I don't know if Lonzo is going to be the traditional style point guard in that case, and if they're going to be running the offense through Lonzo. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right way to go. I'm not saying that at all. I just don't know if that's what I see them doing on this team, considering the half court ball handlers that they have in DeRozan, in Vooch. But yeah, I think Lonzo is always going to, no, let me not say always, but I see, at least on this team, especially early in the season, is that Lonzo is going to be, in transition, yes. When they're playing faster, yes, he's going to have the ball in his hand more times than not. But I don't know if, like, marrying Lonzo to this traditional point guard role is what is going to be the case. Again, that's not to say that that is more right or more wrong or the way that they should go. I just don't know if I see Lonzo being that. Now, in stretches, yes. Should he be given the opportunity to? Absolutely. Does he have the ability to be? Absolutely. Lonzo has the ability, I think, as far as like his intelligence, his passing, to be that traditional, like, if we're gonna make it, like, again, not in the skill, but like Chris Paul type point guard. But I don't know. I just don't know if I see that for Lonzo on this team. Now, like I said, more so than not, I think that looking at just the first game, right? And I want to preface everything that I'm saying for anyone who's watching in this video is that this is kind of over reactions and analysts from one game, right? This is one game, and it was a game in which we already know the Bulls did not play the way that we expect them to even want to play. So I'm setting that to preface this, but I just don't know if Lonzo is going to be that type of point guard on this. Like I said, and again, that's not saying he can't be. I think Lonzo can do anything. But I think Lonzo is definitely, you say 3-and-D. I don't even know if 3-and-D is going to be the case. He's definitely going to be a factor on defense. He's very important to us on both sides of the ball. But even if you go back and look at that game, there are times where Lonzo would get to the rim. He would get inside and he would make an additional pass. So I think at times, at least in what I want to see, like me personally, and again, this isn't saying it's more right or more wrong, but I think that, I just want to see Lonzo more aggressive on the offensive end, because I think that he gets himself pretty decent buckets, but he passes out of it. And, a lot of this is going to work out as the team finds the chemistry. Remember, I was saying that don't be surprised if the Bulls take a while to find the chemistry. And then that was before the preseason. Then the preseason started, and it looked like they were firing on all cylinders right away. But I think we need to go back to, and I'm not saying that they have to build from the ground up. They already have shown that they have just some natural chemistry on the floor. But especially when you have, in the regular season, starters playing more minutes, teams are playing you harder, they're going to figure out their chemistry as the season goes along, and also what type of roles fit them. But I just want to see Lonzo be more aggressive. Take down those turnovers. Even if you look at like the number of assists he had, those assists could have easily almost doubled if his teammates were hitting shots, right? And then we look at that game kind of a little bit differently as the outcome of it. It was just everybody was so cold at a stretch that I think everybody was affected by that. So, you know, that's my opinion on that. Like I said, I'm not saying it's the end all be all at all. Like, I don't think that at all. That's just kind of what I see from this team and what I would like to see going forward from this team as well. When it comes to Lonzo, Lonzo has that ability. And, you know, I think if we see a game in which the Bulls aren't playing such a gritty game that and also hitting shots, that we see a completely different side of Lonzo Ball. But that concern that Lonzo is going to be used in a similar way he was in New Orleans, I think, yes. I mean, we should all have that, right? Because we know, and Lonzo's talked about it, it's not necessarily his best role. That's not where he feels the most comfortable at. He did it because he's a team player and he's going to do what the coach asked him to do. But we want to see Lonzo use more to the strengths, absolutely, on this team. So moving on to the next comment. This one is from JPD. I haven't seen him too much on the channel, but I'm going to put that comment up now, but I'm also read it. They need a big man inside defender. Vucevic will get eaten alive by any big man who can score inside. I still don't see what people see in Patrick Williams. I don't think his attitude when playing is that of a future star. He seems more like a role player who contributes more defensively, but he is not even a good help defender. No aggression at all on offense. Future stars are aggressive and imposed. Okay, so I'm going to attack the Vucevic part of this first, right? And I'm going to do that by first showing this clip.
From Isaiah Stewart. From the baseline, shot is short. Rebound off the deck to Killian, finds Sadiq, he fires, it won't fall.
Now, again, this is one game, one play, right? But you want to see Vooch be more active. The fact that, like, even it, like, he could have died for that ball. Like, yeah, you don't see a lot of big men dive. I get that, right? I get that. I'm not saying that at all. But, you know, Vucevic's defense is absolutely a concern. Absolutely. And we don't know how much we're going to make up for. We don't know how much that's going to hurt us. Like, as far as when the Bulls play dominant big men, depending on how they defend, you can let a dominant big man go off and then defend everybody else very well. But you don't want to see get eaten up on the interior. The one thing that Vooch is going to do is rebound on the interior. So Vucevic's and DeMar DeRozan's games were the biggest concerns for me. Because if DeMar's shot isn't falling, he isn't aggressive. We already know he's not the greatest defender. Some would say he's not even a good defender. But he's already not going to give us much, even though he hit his 1 3-pointer. But, you know, it's a concern, absolutely. Vucevic's interior defense is absolutely a concern. We need to see what Tony Bradley can really give us. He didn't play a lot of minutes. But we knew that going into the season, that the interior defense on this Bulls team is going to be one of our biggest concerns. And we need to see how this front office addresses it when and if they can. Not that if. They have shown they're going to have their mind on improving this team, but how they go about it is going to be the key thing there, and seeing how they improve that part of this team, you know, it remains to be seen. But yeah, absolutely, Vooch, his defense is a huge concern for me, and it's going to be something that as the season goes along, and you know, it may not. The thing with Vooch's defense is that, yes, it's going to rear its head in the regular season, but my biggest concern is when you get into these playoff series, right, where a team is completely making adjustments just for what you do game to game, that's going to be the first thing that they go for if they have somebody who can eat Vooch alive on the interior and who can make them pay. And that's where my biggest concern is. So we'll see how the Bulls address that. We knew it going into the season. Now, the thing with Patrick Williams, where I'm going to have to disagree with you on Patrick Williams, first off, future stars are aggressive. This is a 20-year-old in the second year coming off a ankle injury, which he's still probably not completely healed from. And to say not every superstar is aggressive right from the get-go, right? Even if you look at, for example, somebody like Paul George in his first season, he had moments and flashes of showing aggressiveness, but the player that he became, I think he like really took that leap. Was it like in his third year? But even with Patrick Williams, you got to look at what he's playing. He's playing on a team now with expectations. And as far as offense, the offense isn't where they need him at. He last year defended the other team's best perimeter player. But let's keep in mind, he is now moving from that perimeter defense to being a 4 and playing big men. So because of that, I think you're just jumping the gun. And as fans, often we want to see the players be who we think they can be very early on and not realize how you have to add to your game every season to get to that. Jumping in, like, and that's not to say that I don't want to see some aggressiveness from him. Absolutely. There's, especially if he has a mismatch, or especially when if he's out there with more bench players, you want to see aggressiveness from Patrick Williams. But the thing is that before this injury, the only thing that we have between last season and this season, before the injury, was the summer league, in which he absolutely showed more aggressiveness. But again, keep in mind the competition he was playing with, and at that point in time, he was playing with a lot of younger players. Patrick Williams, all of a sudden calling for the ball, being super aggressive on offense with a team full of veterans like this, I just don't see it, and I don't see that as possibly a negative, especially like when I say when you factor in the other things. And to say that Patrick Williams isn't a good help defender, I really think that you can only be talking about this game if you're talking about that. And again, with the caveats that I threw in and the fact that he's still recovering from an injury and he's still trying to catch his footing, he's still trying to get his conditioning, I think you're being a little bit hard on Patrick Williams there. Again, that's my opinion, and people in the comments may disagree, but like that he has the attitude. I don't think his attitude is that of a future star. He's a 20-year-old kid out there contributing, and he's somebody who guarded the best player sometimes on the team last, the best perimeter player. So come on, man. I think you're being a little bit hard on Patrick Williams. Again, that's just my opinion. But I overall with Patrick Williams, and I've said it, and I know some people disagreed with me on this as well, but like I don't think this is going to be the year where Patrick Williams needs to show better efficiency on offense, right? And more aggressiveness to a degree on actually feeling comfortable taking shots and not deferring as much. But like if you're looking for a super aggressive like person who like looks like a future star because they're demanding to get the ball and crunch, that's just not going to be Patrick Williams' role on this team this season. At least I don't think so. But let me know. Like I said, again, you guys can completely disagree with me, and I understand that 100% if that's the case. But that's it. I wanted to just talk about those comments a little bit. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree with some of my points. How do you feel about some of the points that were made in this as well? And I've been doing a terrible job at this, right? You can also email the show, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. We also do have a call-in line if you want to. And I have gotten a couple of texts that I have not responded to, so that's my fault. I apologize. I'll be better at responding to that. But we do have a text line as well. It's down in the description, but the number for that is 773-270-2799. So you can make sure you call me as that as well. This time, if you do call, leave a voicemail or text, I want to know. We have our second regular season game tonight against the New Orleans Pelicans. I want to know your predictions for the game, and we'll see how true they become it when I do the next video for the game. So let me know down below. Also, feel free to email or text that number as well if you want to leave your feedback or anything before or after the game. But like I like to end every video on, go Bulls. I love you guys. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.